Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. I'm Joe.
And I'm Calvin.
Oh, I wonder if that's going to play in the mic. Oh, I'm so hyped for Bridgerton. Are you ready for Bridgerton?
No. But you know what I'm ready for?
Why you say it like that?
You know what I'm ready for? That happened with Joe.
You're so crazy.
Wow.
Okay. Did you know that cheating is genetic?
Did you know that's a bullshit excuse?
Actually, science, they're testing the theory, but they noticed, like when doing brain scans, that the way that endorphins work for people who like risk and like they call it thrill, but really it's like trying to die. Those same areas of the brain are activated when they're cheating. Like they feel the same kind of like ooh exhilaration type of thing, and it
Okay.
could be genetic.
Well, I'm genetically supposed to cheating, so when I cheat, I'll just tell you it's genetics and I can't control it. How about that? Thank you for my excuse.
I don't know
welcome.
that it's a valid excuse.
Yep, what it is now. You just showed it's hereditary and it's in your DNA.
I'm just saying.
I can't control it because technically I come from a family of cheaters.
I just find it interesting
So
that they're
I can't
saying
control it anymore.
they're saying cheating specifically. So lying. They're saying lying to a partner could be genetic. They're not saying like multiple partners equals this. They're saying lying is what's creating it, which I found very interesting. Also,
Don't matter. My excuse.
there was a whole conversation around like scents, perfume, cologne, the more expensive brands versus the dupes, and a lot of people had varied opinions about it. Some people were saying they would rather get a dupe to test out how their body chemistry works with that particular scent.
Makes sense.
Because they don't want to waste their money on buying a really expensive brand and then it's not something that they really want in the first place.
Makes sense.
Other people were like, that's what testers are for. You could go to the store and do a test, or you can buy the little testers and see how you like it. But other people were like, you still have to purchase the tester. And for the price of the tester, I could just buy the dupe.
Yeah, the testers of that perfume that you might or cologne you might really want is the same exact as the dupe.
Yeah. And I'm like, you could get a full body of a full bottle of the dupe.
Yeah.
Or a tiny tester.
Because those testers I got for the ones I really like were like 40, almost 50 some bucks.
Right. And that was still like a deal. So like that's.
Yeah, that was a deal.
Yeah. So other people are saying that like they'd rather take the chance on getting the full cologne because they also know that the scent will last longer like on them versus a dupe. Sometimes the scent lasts, sometimes it disappears pretty quickly.
I also want to get a rose floral scent cologne.
Interesting.
And citrus scent cologne for the summer.
What is your opinion about a dupe versus the actual perfume?
Depends on how good the dupe is.
Oh, okay. So you're saying you can get a quality dupe and be good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Other people are like very purist. They're like, no. If I'm gonna spend money, it's gonna be on the real thing.
If you got purist money, then shut up. Who cares? Good for you. The rest of us don't. So we do what we need to do. Make it do what it do. How Ray Charles would say.
In other news, O.J. Simpson passed, and the reaction has been very interesting.
O.J. is not dead. He faked his death.
This is an Elvis situation.
He's in Aruba.
He's chilling somewhere on a beach.
Yeah, he's in Aruba.
It's just very interesting, a lot of the conversation again around this.
He's also chilling with Tupac and Biggie.
Have you seen the memes? All the skit videos? Because they're hilarious.
No.
There's one with this girl. She's supposed to be dressed up as OJ. And he's going to the pearly gates. And they're like, all right. First of all, I didn't know the O in OJ stands for like Orenthal. It's just a very country name.
James. Yeah, Orenthal James.
So they're like, Orenthal, welcome. You made it. He's like, all right. So, because COVID and the pandemic and everything, we were trying to keep it super clean up here. I need you to put on this glove. So she puts on the black glove and he goes, got him. And it's all fire and hellfire. He's down. He's downstairs instead. It's hilarious. But apparently he passed from prostate cancer.
Okay. I don't know what you want me to say about OJ.
Did you have any feelings about it? I know
No.
you know. So
He doesn't like black people, so why should I like him?
I only know him
I don't
for
care.
the murder. But other people who remember him for the sports are like,
I wasn't
they
old
kind of feel
enough
away.
to remember him from the sports. I remember from being an analyst
Okay.
for CBS, I think it was.
Okay. He was a sports analyst.
For football in the Avis commercials.
I remember him for Naked Gun,
And
the Naked Gun movies.
And Naked Gun movies.
And then the Chase. That's what I remember him for. But people who remember him from sports were like, he was one of the greats. And I'm like, what was he? Was he a great?
Actually, there's accusation of him probably
juicing.
No.
Oh.
Sexually assaulting females when he was at USC, and them paying those females off.
I believe
the females came forward because she had an NDA all these years,
mm-hmm.
and now that he's dead, NDA is up.
Well,
she's telling the story.
I find that interesting that you said it like that. So you believe them? You're like, it's in the realm of possibility. It's not far range.
He was a superstar running back at one of the most prestigious football schools, USC.
Okay.
He won the Heisman.
For when he what was the 60s, the 70s?
It had to be like the 70s. USC has.
So my question is, was he that good?
Yeah.
Was he really that good?
Yes.
Or was he just overhyped because of everything else that happened?
Stop. OJ was that guy.
Okay.
He almost led Buffalo to a Super Bowl.
On his own?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
OJ was that dude.
Wow.
Don't get it twisted. For all the things you might hear or hate about OJ.
Right.
When it comes to football, when he was playing, OJ was that dude.
So in his prime, he really was. It wasn't hype. He really was that talented.
Was that guy.
Well, I understand why some people feel conflicted then. If they like really followed his athlete career, I could see why they're like,
he was the best running back in college, and he was one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he got hurt, and that's why he retired, or he just retired early. All I know is I think he retired early. I don't even know if he retired early or not. All I know is when he played for Buffalo, he's one of the best running backs.
Okay.
He probably still hold a bunch of their records. Tell you the truth. Well, I wouldn't be shocked.
I think everybody was shocked that he passed. Everybody was like, what? Okay.
Whatever.
Oh. So crazy. All right. And that also being said, I found a new face-off for us to go over. It is 1992 versus 1998. I'm trying to get this clip together and hopefully play it on time. It's from Soul Faces Media. Oh, let me make sure everything's on. So that we can hear it. All right.
92 versus 98. Let's go.
Well, we know who wins with that one.
All right.
Wait, that Redman Time for Some Action was 92?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
I'll double check it just in case. Since you're like, are you sure? Redman. I like how they spell action.
Yeah, it's the hip hop way, I guess. That's crazy.
You think it was like what's supposed to be later 90s? Time for Some Action, released in 92.
I didn't know Redman came out that early.
Apparently he did.
Okay.
Let's see. Artist Redman. How young? How young was he?
Yeah, Redman got to be in his 50s.
Yeah, he's 56 now.
Yeah.
So how young was he in 92? He must have been a
like
teen.
18, 19.
Yeah.
Okay, anywho, so the first song you heard was Jade Don't Walk Away versus the Destiny's Child No 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 No.
Correct.
Jade.
I agree. And I am a Beyonce fan. And I love Destiny's Child's No No No. That's their first ever song as a group that came out on mainstream radio top 40. First ever. And it was a huge hit. We all know the words to it, but I do like Jade's Don't Walk Away a little bit more.
The second one is a no-brainer. Tevin Campbell, Goodbye versus Usher's My Way. I didn't even know that was Tevin Campbell. I've never heard that song.
I know that song.
If you play it,
I'm amazed that I know this song.
if you play it, I might recognize it, but I don't think I've ever heard that song. It's obviously Usher My Way.
For you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even close.
Okay.
So what's it for you?
Tevin Campbell, Goodbye.
Get out.
I liked. First of all, I didn't know that there's kind of a rivalry between Tevin Campbell and Usher. They're very similar in age, and they both started their careers around the same time. But Tevin's took off a little faster.
It wasn't even close. Tevin had the better start of a career. It's not even close.
Okay.
All I remember from Usher is Call Me the Mac.
From then, okay.
Usher, Tevin Campbell was by far the biggest star at that time.
Yes.
It wasn't even
in
close.
the early 90s. I agree.
Can't We Talk? What was the other one?
Eye to Eye, To Anyone. Goodbye.
Can We Talk? What's the other one that everybody did the whole TikTok thing? Was that Can We Talk?
What are you talking about?
The Tevin Campbell song, I'm Ready.
Ready for Love.
Yeah, I'm Ready. So he had so many hits by that time. Also, Round and Round with Prince.
Yeah.
Tomorrow he did with what's his name? The old guy that did Thriller with Michael Jackson.
I don't
Quincy Jones.
know. Okay.
So yeah, he was working with everybody. And by the way, he was also on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Yes.
making Ashley pass out.
Yeah.
I've had that effect on women too, but that's neither here nor there.
But I understand why you say Usher My Way. I mean, that came out when we were teens.
That's the bitter.
He's from your hometown.
No, but that's the bitter song.
I disagree, but he is from your hometown, and he is an amazing performer. Like, he's dancing, singing.
Maybe
doing
I
all
need
of
to
it.
listen to this Tevin Campbell Goodbye and then come back, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to change.
Well, the reason I like the Tevin Campbell Goodbye is I think, in my opinion, you're gonna be mad at me, but I think Tevin Campbell is a better vocalist than Usher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not even close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you.
Oh, okay.
Tevin Campbell has the way more range.
Okay.
He has the better. He's the actual singer.
Okay.
Usher is the performer.
I agree.
So
So for you, it is gonna be Usher My Way, and for me, it's Tevin Campbell Goodbye. All right.
okay.
On to Tony Braxton versus Deborah Cox.
Oh, so this is where one of the tough ones is going to be.
Love Should Have Brought You Home versus Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. I know the words to both of these songs. These are both Be In Your Feelings, crying, sliding down the wall
Love
songs.
Should Have Brought You Home is the soundtrack to Boomerang,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
I can check.
But How Did You Get Here is Deborah Cox's biggest song.
Yes, it is.
Say.
It absolutely is.
Love Should Have Brought You Home next night put everybody on to Tony Braxton, but it wasn't her biggest hit.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's on Boomerang. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. I know my music. Because the beginning of that video is, what's her face?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't realize that Boomerang soundtrack was before her self-titled album.
Yeah. That
Oh.
song started off with Holly Berry telling Eddie Murphy, "Love should have brought you home. Yeah, brought your ass home last night."
Mm.
And then she goes into the song. God.
Low-key, family, if you're listening to this, cover your ears right now. Boomerang was my sexual awakening.
Pause.
Yeah.
Why?
It was the first time I saw like a sex scene the way that they have it with people that look like me. Most of the romance movies that I
All I
watched
remember
growing up are all
about
white
that
people.
Movie is that nasty old bald-headed gay dude who was talking about banana. and
Well,
all that
okay,
stuff.
first
and
of all,
then,
you've got
Grace Jones throwing her panties in people's
yes,
face.
like her
Pussy,
her full crotch.
my
I loved
pussy
it.
juice.
But also Eartha Kitt gets
And
in
Eartha
on
Kitt
it.
Marquez.
But it's the scene between Eddie Murphy and Robin Givens. They have like 2 sex scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the first time of me seeing it that detailed.
First time you saw black titties.
Yeah, black love like that at all.
And areolas.
Black love like that at all. And have Robin Givens be the one that was the instigator. I had never seen anything like it. I was like, what is this?
Oh, so you like women dominating men?
Yes.
And that's why you on the corner on your knees on some rice. Because your mom.
You're so crazy.
Because you're
Okay,
dirty.
you can uncover your ears now, family. So yes.
I'm pretty sure no one did. I'm going.
It's hard.
I'm going.
This was a good one. These were good ones.
I'm going Deborah Cox.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
But if
I'm
somebody goes
also going to go Deborah Cox.
Tony Braxton, I can't be mad.
Also, yeah, same.
I can't
Same.
be mad.
If someone's like, nah, it's love should have brought you home.
But for me,
Correct.
the Deborah Cox How Did You Get Here is the bigger, for me, is more of an anthem. Oh, crap.
For me, again, I think Deborah Cox is a bigger vocalist than Tony.
She has more range.
She does.
And, yeah, I can't be mad at anyone says that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be piss me off if someone says that.
Right.
So.
Tony's talented, don't get me wrong, but Deborah Cox.
Yeah, Deborah got the range.
Wow.
Deborah is a beast.
She is.
She doesn't get the justice or the flowers that she deserves.
I agree. She's definitely an underrated artist for sure.
This one here.
Okay.
Whatever you pick, I don't care.
Oh,
Troop Sweet November.
Right.
I don't remember this song.
Me either.
And Players Cheers to You.
That one I know.
So since I don't know Troop, I'm gonna say Player Cheers to You by default.
I'm gonna say that because they played it at my middle school and it was my first slow dance ever.
Oh, so you just
Cheers to You.
So Fastness just started early with you, huh?
It was a middle school slow dance, so it is like Frankenstein arms on the shoulders of your partner.
Hope your parents
as you do the slow tilt back and forth.
Hope your parents aren't listening to this. So you just fast out the gate.
Me out here in the streets of Mesa Verde, yeah.
If you ask me who's the better group, it's not even close. Troop.
Oh, okay. Between those, okay.
It's not even close. But I don't know.
I still only know the one song from Troop. Oh no, 2. I know maybe 2 songs from
Troop. The one that was a cover. The other one is Spread My Wings.
No, I take that back. I only know the one.
What?
The cover.
All I Do?
Yeah, that's the only one I know from them.
You've heard Spread My Wings.
We played this game before, and then you even got Google to check it and play it, and I did not know what that song was.
That song was okay, sure. I'm not gonna go through that again.
Okay.
Another one for me for the reggae heads.
You.
The Rastafarians.
Shabba Ranks Ting-a-Ling versus Beanie Man. Who Am I, aka Sim Sima.
Bonfire.
I'm saying Shabba Ranks. Ting-a-Ling. If this was him versus Elephant Man, it might be a different story. But it's Beanie Man. And it's Who Am I? That's the one they chose. So I'm doing Shabba Ranks Ting-a-Ling.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling is more of my jam.
Okay.
But Who Am I? Oh my God. I'm gonna go Shabba Ranks.
Is it bringing back some memories?
Yeah. Being in the Peacock. DJing. I was at it. So now I was in Peacock.
98. You were what? 17.
Oh, this song.
16.
This song. Shabba Ranks song is in 92.
Yeah, Shabba Ranks is 92. Beanie Man is 98.
Yeah. But
Oh, you were in the Peacock during the Shabba Ranks era?
Yeah, in the middle of this. Yeah.
Yo, you were 11. Okay.
Yeah, in the middle of this. Yeah, I was in the Peacock. I think I was like 12, 13.
Wow.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Last one is Redman. Time for the Action versus
for some action.
Versus Busta Rhymes Dangerous.
Busta Rhymes Dangerous.
So I'm assuming 98 wins.
Well, okay, so it was Jade for us in the first one.
Yes.
Then it was Tevin
Split.
Campbell for me and Usher for you.
Yep.
Then we both said Deborah Cox. So that's 98
that's
again.
98. Then we said Player Player,
which
that's
is also
98.
98
And 92 for Shabba Ranks.
for me.
And 98 for Busta Rhymes.
Oh, it's kind of even. Actually, it's kind of even because we also have that split. It's kind of even.
I think 98 wins.
I think 98 wins for you. I lean more towards 92.
But you picked more 98s.
No, I didn't. I chose Jade. I chose Tevin Campbell.
I
chose Deborah
yeah,
Cox.
You're right. You did.
But
you did.
And cheers to you. But then I chose Shabba Ranks.
And
then I chose Busta Rhymes.
yeah,
it's pretty even for me.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think. Like I said, the two hardest to choose from was the Tony Braxton versus Deborah Cox.
Yeah.
Shabba Ranks versus Beanie Man.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
What do you think of the Missy Elliott tour that's about to happen? Have you heard about it yet?
What Missy Elliott tour?
It's Missy Elliott, it's Timbaland, it's Sierra, and Busta Rhymes.
So it seems like, okay.
I'll show you the little trailer. It's giving. Do you remember when Busta used to do he used to do all the camera angles were super close and he pretended to be like an alien from somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like.
That'll be a good tour for all the old school people.
The tour tickets, the cheapest tickets, are $180.
Yeah, it's for grown folks.
I was looking at because they're coming out. They're coming to Verizon over here.
It's for grown folks.
Or is it still the Verizon Center? It's not that
No.
anymore. Capital One Arena.
Capital One Arena.
They're coming there, and I wanted to get tickets, but the nosebleeds are $180. I was like,
I don't like concerts like that anyway. So, it's whatever for me.
Okay.
But moving right along
All
to
right. Our Worth the Watch.
Worth the Watch.
And I have it listed as WrestleMania 40.
I see that. So this is all you. Go ahead.
I enjoyed myself. I haven't watched wrestling like that in years, but I definitely got hooked on the whole hashtag finish the story. Hashtag Cody needs to finish the story. Yada, yada, yada. Storyline they gave for Cody Rhodes. In case you have not been paying attention or you just don't care about wrestling, there has been this slow build of a story for Cody Rhodes regarding his title.
Run.
Yeah, his title run for, what is it, WWE Champion of the World? I don't know what this is.
Undisputed WWE Champion or something like that?
Something of that, heavyweight champion. I don't know. Something of that nature. Because there's a lot of belts, apparently, with wrestling. And I had no idea.
There's 3 times more belts than it was when I was growing
There's
up.
the ladies, then there's some other kinds.
Because when I was growing up,
men's.
you had like the WWE Champion.
There's payers.
You
There's
had
all
like
kinds
the
of things.
World Champion.
There's an international champion now.
You had like the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
You had the Tag Team Champion belts. And
They-
maybe one more belt.
They had a heavyweight one, and then whatever Cody has.
Well, that was, I'm talking about when I watched as a kid. It's
Oh.
only like maybe 4 belts.
There's like 6 now.
Then WCW had maybe 5 or 6 belts.
Well, the WCW is now gone, and now it's AEW, and they have a cash thing. It's like a suitcase where if you win it, you can then put it in to fight whoever you want to fight.
To cash in to fight for the belt. And it's like 6 or 7 different belts now. It's like, I don't know. Anywho, continue.
You watch bits and pieces of wrestling. So,
What's your newfound love for wrestling?
listen, I am highly enjoying the character builds, the storylines that they're creating, and from all of the YouTube videos that I've been catching, this is a new turn for them. They haven't been doing it like this in a minute. They're giving credit to Triple H. They're calling it whatever his real name is, Era.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
That's his real name?
Hunter Hearst Helmsley, yes.
Then what's the L? It's an L name.
Who are you talking about?
Are you sure that's his name?
They call him Triple H.
You said his name is Triple H.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I think
I could have
Helmsley,
swore there's an L name that they're calling this Era, and I forget what it
Helmsley
is.
has an L in it.
But it's not leading with it. Levesque? That's his real name. His real name is Paul Levesque or Levesque, whatever. They're calling it the Levesque Era.
Okay.
He is their chief of content right now. It was kind of up in the air because of his closeness to the McMahons.
First of all, it's him and The Rock. It's just not him.
I agree, but right now that's not what they're leading with. They're not saying it's him and The Rock. I clearly know it's The Rock. This is stinking of new attitude era. But anyway,
Because if you look at the storyline time, it started when Rock came
it
back.
started when Rock came back. Okay, we'll get into that. So the point is, a bunch of stuff went down for WrestleMania 40. I'm trying to get wrestlers' names because I am not prepared. But
So if
I
you
had a
don't
fun
know-
time watching it.
So until you get your notes up, I'll just let
Okay.
you give them a background. So what happened was Vince McMahon pretty much got in trouble for a bunch of scandalous things he was doing with the female wrestlers,
And potentially the black wrestlers because he has
And
a hang up.
the black wrestlers as well. So he has all of these different, I guess, sexual assault and other
Sex trafficking,
sex
potentially.
trafficking, potentially criminal things coming out about him and coming out. So, in order to keep his brand afloat, he pretty much just pulled out at everything. He pretty much did he sell his shares in the company?
I don't know if he did. They didn't. I'm not. At least I wasn't following
So
that part of the news.
He probably stopped with the day to day. He's no longer coming to the events or anything. So he just took a step down. He probably still has his shares in the company, but he's no longer the face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
In comes The Rock with Triple H, and they concoct this masterpiece of an old school, pretty much storyline that they haven't used in decades
Mm-hmm.
to get back the interest into wrestling and to pretty much overshadow what's happening with Vince McMahon. And it worked to perfection because no one really talks about the Vince McMahon stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's your setup.
Okay. Okay. So
I shouldn't read the notes from the cue cards.
you said I don't know. That might be required at some
Turn
point.
to her and say and look shocked.
Oh, read
Turn
the
to her.
instructions.
Yeah. Turn to her and look shocked.
Stop reading out loud now. Let Javon respond. Craziness. Anywho, okay, so we had Rhea Ripley versus another lady. I just pulled it up and then
Becky
lost it
something?
that quickly. Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the women's title, Rhea Ripley wins. She just won. So and that happened. They included it.
Which leads me to believe she's still the bigger star.
Oh, Rhea Ripley?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I
And
mean, so
they're not ready for Becky to take over yet.
Becky's not anything to sneeze at, but she just came back. So apparently Becky's been gone for a little bit to have her baby and whatnot. And she's just kind of made her way back in the last
And
year.
they're punishing her for leaving.
I hope it's not that, but
yeah, that's pretty much how that works.
that sucks. So we had that tournament. Oh, I have a new favorite. Excited. There's this trio of black women that are also dominating right now. You've got Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. I've started watching Bianca's reality show. It's on Hulu right now with her and her husband, who's also a wrestler. He's in a lot of tag teams.
He sucks. She's the bigger star by far.
They just did an
Not even
interview
close.
with those football players, the same people that did that.
You talking about Ryan Clark?
Yeah, I think it's called The Pivot or something.
Yeah, the pivot.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
did an interview with them.
Yeah.
And they asked them, they're like, well, I recently had that football player and Simone Biles on the show and kind of caused a little conundrum asking how he felt, being married to Simone Biles. And he basically was like, nah, she needs to be proud she married me. And it was a whole thing. So they are asking Bianca's husband that. They were like, how do you feel about whatever? He gave a slightly better answer where he was like, I'm very proud of what she does. I'm never going to be somebody that's going to hold her back from it. But, that stuff doesn't bother me because when we're home, I'm king. I was like, okay, here we go. So, but other than that, right now, in terms of WWE, Bianca is the more known name. She has more followers, all of that behind her. She actually held the championship for a little bit. I think she's still the longest holder of the title for women. So, but she teamed up recently with Jade Cargill and Naomi. Jade Cargill is ridiculously beautiful and statuesque and freaking gorgeous.
Who else is Jay Cardinal?
She looks like Storm.
The big, tall
She
bitch.
actually says her catchphrase is "The storm is coming." She literally looks like Storm from X-Men.
The girl like
She looks brilliant.
Tiana. What's her name?
Oh, Tiana Taylor?
Yeah.
Kinda.
In the face.
Kinda. She's gorgeous. Oh, I fell in love. Apparently she went independent for a little bit. So she was with WWE.
Because they don't pay nobody.
Yeah. Then she went independent. She left. Trained, did whatever, got back into AEW, and then came back to WWE. I didn't realize AEW was such a funnel to WWE.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I should have known. It's Vince McMahon. He owns all the WWE.
Yeah, there's another one that's owned by these two guys. I think this guy who owns the other wrestling competition one, his dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's AEW. That's
well,
AEW.
then I don't think Vince McMahon owns that one.
No, he's in partnership with them.
Okay.
They ended up doing a partnership.
Okay.
Because he was independent at first.
Okay.
Which leads me to the Cody Rhodes backstory. Cody Rhodes built up AEW. It's a whole story. So anyway, we had the three. We had the three girls, Jade Cargill, Naomi, who's married to one of the Uso brothers. Naomi is ridiculously talented. I was gonna call her out her name, but this bitch got to the top of a cage and did splits all the way down to the ground to pin somebody. That's insane. She be doing backflips like it's nothing. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And Bianca's nothing to shrug at either. Like, I don't know how these women are throwing themselves around like this. This is crazy. And then after the interview I watched with Pivot, they don't get much setup time. So they find out who they're pairing off against on stage, basically, like behind the scenes. They get like a last minute notice. And then it's a quick, quick communication with the other team of like, all right, this is what we're going to do. They do have some stuff scripted of like who's going to win or how they want the match to like ebb and flow. But it's on them to make it a good show, to like do the kicks and the flips and the blah, blah, blahs and make those choices for the pins.
It depends on how big the match is.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, the women's title match, they probably had way more time to work out the kinks and the details to that.
I just feel like, how does that make it safe if they're doing it so last minute? If they are doing that so last minute, how do we make sure that we're landing safe and we're...
That's because you make sure you got people who do their job.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't have a bunch of rogue people out there who just want to shine, i.e. that Bret, the Hitman Hart nephew.
Yeah.
That's why no one wanted to wrestle with him, because he would do what the fuck he wanted to do.
Yep.
Like they was telling
and
that
they
one
would have
story.
To scramble.
Yeah, that one story talking about he just kept doing hurricanranas off the top rope, back and forth. Mm-hmm. And and like 60 of them weren't scripted.
Right.
Only 2 of them
they were
like
he was supposed to do. Right. Yeah. Right. It was crazy. We also got to see Drew McIntyre go after Seth freaking Rollins. It was actually it wasn't a bad pair up. But then all of a sudden, Drew McIntyre was like chilling and talking to CM Punk for a very long time. And Calvin came over and was watching it and goes, he's stalling. I said, what? Maybe he's not stalling. Maybe he's trying to set up for another fight. No, apparently he was stalling, because then immediately his title gets taken away from him by another guy who everybody is calling the bisexual Undertaker. So.
Oh, well, first of all, yes, that's funny. The way he was just sitting on that thing, I'm like, kiss already. He was stalling and buying time for whatever transition they were trying to make. Then finally CM Punk attacks him and does whatever.
Yep.
They're fighting. All of a sudden, this dude comes in and cashes in his Money in the Bank ticket for a belt.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in, choke slams him or something, pins him. But to me, that's messed up.
Yeah.
That man he held a belt for like
2 seconds.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, Damian Priest. That's the name.
I mean, I say 5 minutes. Tops. 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He finally got the belt. He went to antagonize CM Punk, because apparently he has a storyline with CM Punk and he's supposed to fight CM Punk.
Yes, they have a rivalry, yes. But then CM Punk got hurt. So then that got put on the back burner, and then he started going after Seth Rollins. And apparently Seth did need the break. Remember, I was like, well, I wonder where they took that title from him, and you're like, he probably needs to recuperate or something. Mm-hmm. That was it. He really hurt himself. And I think this is their way of, like what you were saying, forcing him to take the step back. So he lost the title. but it keeps McIntyre in the running because he has the rival with CM Punk, and now he can go after Damian Priest for taking the title from him.
They're gonna do a CM Punk storyline with him. I'm gonna tell you straight up the top. That's what they're gonna do.
So Damian Priest is part of a group with Rhea Ripley. I forget what they call themselves.
No, they're not gonna use him.
Judgment Day. They're called the Judgment Day family.
They're going Seth Rollins with CM Punk.
Well, Seth Rollins still needs to recover. So people are thinking this is going to be Damian's time to turn babyface and betray Judgment Day.
Sure, whatever. I think, CM Punk still hurt, so he needs to heal too.
That's what I'm saying. So that gives time for Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest to do something.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got the two people confused with. I thought Seth Rollins was the same person with that McIntyre.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They'll probably do that, but yeah, the CM Punk Seth Rollins, that is for sure gonna be a storyline.
Yeah.
So when they get healthy, they're gonna try to kill each other again. That's pretty much what's gonna happen.
So that went down. We also had the tag teams that came through.
Just to say right quick, back to that.
Yeah.
The stalling was just too long. It was just too long.
The stalling. You were saying it was super obvious.
Yeah, I'm like, he's stalling. I'm like, I don't know why.
I enjoyed the banter that was happening. I didn't even realize he was stalling for time.
I'm like, but he's stalling.
Because you're right. He wasn't even mic'd up. He's literally just talking and it's kind of off mic.
And he's just sitting there. Because normally when they stall, it's like something happens. Mm-hmm. Somebody runs in the ring. Then something happens. Boom, 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 go. Mm-hmm. But this was like, I'm like, this is almost uncomfortable.
Not uncomfortable.
But yeah, so
yeah, that happened. And then Snoop Dogg came. Apparently, he's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Pushing his new alcohol, which means I think I'm gonna get. That's neither here.
You're gonna try it?
No, I was thinking about getting alcohol, but
with Snoop Dogg comes a familiar face that Calvin recognized, Bubba Ray Dudley. He was a special guest referee for the 6-man tag team.
So he's a special guest referee. If you don't know, he's part of the Dudley Boys or Dudley Twins, Dudley Boys. Mm-hmm. It's like their thing is like 3D.
So were they like 2000s or late 90s or early 90s?
Oh, they were 2000s.
Okay.
Whenever ECW started, they were part of ECW.
Okay.
And it was 3D because it was three of them. Mm-hmm. It was another skinny white dude, who wore glasses too. Mm-hmm. He was part of the Dudley Boys. Mm-hmm. But he was like his own. He was part of the crew. But he was like a singles wrestler, and every once in a while, when they did like a triple match or something, he'll join with them.
Right.
But their niche is they put people through tables. That's their niche. That's why when he was standing there stuttering, he was like, everybody like, "Want to get the table?" and then they went and got a table and brought the table to the ring.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what he does. They started the whole putting people through tables fad.
So this was the Pride versus the Final Testament. Apparently, I just know that Bianca's husband was in one of the groupings and he was on the team that won. So there you go.
The team that was the Cash Money Green and Silver.
Yeah.
But Leslie, Brian Leslie.
I don't know.
It's a big, bald-headed black dude. I think it's.
Bianca's husband is with the Street Profits.
Yeah, that's who it was, Street Profits.
But them with that guy makes it the Pride.
Okay. So.
Who cares? The point was a familiar face came back. He put on these glasses and everybody lost it.
Yeah.
Because apparently that was his move.
Yeah, he normally wears glasses.
There's no glasses in these glasses. No, so I just want to point that out as well.
All of them wore glasses. All of them wore glasses with no lenses. with the tape in the middle. With the tape in the middle. They all wore that.
Very interesting. We also had LA Knight versus AJ Styles. They have a little side story. LA Knight reminds me of Hulk Hogan.
LA Knight reminds me of British Knights and LA Gear shoes. That's what it reminds me of. As soon as I heard his name, I'm like, God, this dude's named after sneakers.
I'm not going to lie. This is my first time seeing them. I thought they looked like the same person. I was like, oh, these are twins. They are not.
Probably.
But apparently, LA Knight is the babyface and AJ Styles is, what's the opposite one? The heel?
The heel.
And the whole storyline is like they have this rivalry. LA Knight came to his house to fuck shit up, apparently, got arrested outside the home. And then they had the face off. And LA Knight wins. He won that whole thing that went down. Also, very impressive athleticism between these guys. These are really big guys, flipping and tripping and flying through the air like they are.
It's amazing what you can do on steroids.
I don't know. But LA Knight's catchphrase is, yeah. Which reminds me of like Hulk Hogan.
Well,
yeah, brother.
Somebody else had one to go, yeah. Yeah, it was some big light-skinned, red-headed, I think he was Scottish. And his thing was, yes, 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 yes. I'm like,
what is this?
Yeah.
But the way he says, yeah, it reminds me of like, oh, yeah. Like Macho Man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So all of that went down. We also had, we had a United States champion belt. I don't know why this is a thing that exists. It was Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. First of all, Randy Orton, I did not realize how long Randy Orton has been in professional wrestling.
He's been in wrestling for like at least 20-some years.
Good gravy. Like
Probably longer than that.
He performed with Cody Rhodes' dad. Like that, he's been in it for so long.
You sure it wasn't his older brother?
Nope. On the tail end of his dad's career finally ending, because he used to do cameos like how Flair does.
Oh,
like they still would make appearances.
Yeah.
The tail end of that, Randy Orton was still working with him.
Yeah.
Because they were doing flashbacks when they were telling Cody Rhodes' story.
Yeah.
And you see a grown Orton talking to a young Cody Rhodes. I was like,
because
wow.
Orton's father is one of the original Four Horsemen.
Okay. Oh, with Ric Flair. Okay.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So it was Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, which is another wrestler, and Logan Paul. And as much as I don't like Logan Paul, this guy is like the poster child of I got it because I'm white. He is a great heel. He's a great heel in wrestling. He's really good.
The United States champion.
And he won. So he finished it. He won that.
Oh God.
So he's been holding the title, and then he managed to keep the title.
If I'm Randy Orton, I'm done with this shit. I'm like, I can't.
I don't think Randy Orton really wants that title. I think he wants whatever Cody Rhodes is holding.
But what he basically is, he's a what you call influencer.
Who? Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is a wrestler.
He is. He's a social media influencer, for sure.
And that's the only reason he got that belt.
Yeah.
Because he brings
views. Yeah. He brings an audience.
Ugh.
But he also, as much as I hate to admit it, pretty damn good in that ring.
But
pretty damn good as an athlete, honestly.
Whatever.
I still think he's a terrible person. But he did pretty decent.
Yeah, but that United States title, I think that came from WCW.
It clearly means nothing because first of all, the match was short as hell. Secondly, he wins it and hangs on to it. Like I don't think anybody's really scrambling to get this particular belt.
No, because like with back to WCW era, the United States champion was like step down from the world champion, United States champion, whatever, something like that. They had a bunch of titles too. WCW had a lot of belts when I was growing up. And WWE, WWE had maybe 3 or 4.
Well, each of these matches have a belt, and I don't know what these belts are. So
it's like a combination WCW. It's like they took all of all the wrestling, like ECW, WCW, all their belts, and put it in WWE.
Probably.
So yeah.
I mean, I understand business-wise, this gives you running time. Like if you do have all these belts to win, you get to fill up that time. And they did. So we also have Bayley versus Io Sky. And I really enjoyed this match. I had never seen Io Sky. She took the belt from Bianca Belair. This is the belt that Bianca Belair had. Io runs Damage Control. Damage Control is amazing. They're heels. They're women heel wrestlers. They're all from Japan. These women are kick-ass. I love it so much. It's so good. And they also faced off against Bianca Belair and her group. But seeing all these ladies, especially seeing the diversity, it was rare to see the diversity, let alone the women back in the day. So seeing it now, I'm not gonna lie, made me emotional. So we had Bailey, who used to be part of Damage Control, facing off against Io Sky, who's still the leader of Damage Control, and it was a good match. It was a great match. Io Sky, I've never seen somebody from a standing position do a flip, like do a jump fly flip from a standing position. This was amazing. Like, her athleticism is insane, and it's her going back and forth with Bailey. Bailey held her own as well, and Bailey ends up being the winner of this match between those two.
Is Billy the white girl?
Yep, Bailey's the white girl.
Of course.
She used to be with Damage Control. She used to be with all those Japanese girls. And then they had a falling out. I think this is her turn to be a babyface now, basically. But she's also hurt, so I'm very interested to see where that's going to go. Very interested to see.
Did she win Royal Rumble?
I don't know. I don't know. All these wrestling things blur together. I have no idea.
I got to see her face, because I think that sounds like the girl that won the Royal Rumble. When Naomi was in it for like 999 minutes.
Yes. This is that girl. You can't really tell? All right. How about that one?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. She run Royal.
Bring.
She was in there the longest. She started the Royal Rumble match with her and Naomi.
Yes.
Started it. And pretty much Storm, the girl who's supposed to be Storm, came in. Jade came in and pretty much cleaned house.
She's ridiculously tall and ridiculously built.
Jax came in cleaning the house. And then somehow they were like the edge outside the ring on the edge, and she just pushed everybody out.
Basically.
And won.
It was great. I had a great time watching it, which led us to finally the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns of it all. On Saturday, it was pairs. So it was Roman Reigns and Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And Rock and Roman won. It was a good match. First of all, I love it when Rock is a heel because he gets to be insane and crazy and curse all the time. Hysterical.
He does that regardless.
Oh, even when he's not? When he's a babyface? Yeah. He just maintains the same persona either way?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no difference.
That's hilarious. I love Rock the Wrestler. He is so entertaining to watch. And I understand why people think he's overhyped. I understand why people think he's too Hollywood. But he is wrestling. I'm sorry to people who can't stand him for some reason. He is wrestling. I'm so sorry to you.
All of the best interviews. If you go back and watch some of his best interviews, it's the same person.
Oh, there was also an Uso match that I forgot to mention, and for whatever reason, it's not on this WWE webpage. There was the twins against each other. One of the twins won. The one who's the babyface, the one who teamed up with Cody Rhodes won. I think that's Jay. Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns singular happens, and it was fantastic to watch. If you're an old head who was watching it, you got your life. We got to see very familiar faces come through that ring. I was excited. We had to see some new faces. Another one of the I forget what they're calling them. Another one of the cousins of the Rock lineage came on. I forget what they're calling him. His dad was also a wrestler. His dad was like this blonde, super huge Samoan that used to wear basically like Speedos or like
Superfly Jimmy Snuka?
No. After him. This guy came out in the mid-90s. I'm going to have to look it up.
I have no idea who that is.
But he just recently did an interview about it and everything. That he came out to help Roman. And then I forget who came out. Oh, Cena. Cena comes out. People lose it. They hear his music start to play. John Cena comes out in his regular John Cena outfits, which I keep forgetting is jean shorts and a t-shirt.
I don't know how I feel about his entrance music, though. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. It goes, especially the doom, 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 doom.
I can't believe he made that. I can't believe that. Anyway, yeah.
I think his cousin or somebody made it or something like that.
But he wrote the lyrics for it. He's known as a rapper.
Once again, I don't know how I feel about that. But I can't deny it goes hard. Especially that beat drop, people lose their damn mind.
People lost it when he came in. They lost it when he came in to help. So he comes in to help. And then they all get knocked out by The Rock. The Rock ends up showing up as well. And just as The Rock is about to do a finishing move, music I recognize plays. Lights go out. When it comes back on, guess who's there? Undertaker.
An 80-year-old Undertaker who is pretty much breathing hard already, tired. He barely picks The Rock up and choke slams him.
He did a fantastic job of doing a choke slam. Thank you very much.
Stop. His whole body almost gave out when he tried to pick The Rock up and choke slam him.
No, it didn't.
To the point where they cut the lights off at least 30 minutes until he can
Rock
get his
got some nice air. Thank you very much.
Whatever. Until The Rock had to jump up himself and help him throw him down with a choke slam.
I was so excited to see it.
Then the lights went off for 30 minutes, literally.
I was so excited
for them to get their old asses out the ring.
I loved it. I know a lot of people wanted it to be Stone Cold, but I know Stone Cold is basically Mr. Glass at
First
this
of all,
point.
if it was Stone Cold, it would took 30 minutes for him to get to the ring.
The man is broken.
Because he has no knees. He has no knees. He can't bend his legs now
He's Mr. Glass. He's Mr. Glass right now.
He's not Mr. Glass. He can't bend anything. Elbows, knees, nothing. Nothing bends.
He's Mr. Cement.
Yes. He's a tin man before they put oil on him.
Listen,
put oil on him.
I was excited to recognize the music, and I was excited to see a familiar face. I remember Undertaker.
Sucks. It just took them 30 minutes to get out the hell.
I loved it. He shows up. He choke slams him.
That's one of the worst parts of that
I
whole
loved it.
show.
He choke slams The Rock. The lights go back out, and then
for
when
another
they come
20
up,
minutes so they can get out.
They are all gone. I loved it. And it's just down to Cody and Roman. They have their face off. It almost looks like Roman's going to take it, but then Cody wins. And people lose it. They're crying. They're crying.
Don't know why.
Screaming in the
streets. I don't know if you did not know Cody was going to win this. I don't know how you didn't think he was going to win it. First of all, Roman Reigns got cancer, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has leukemia.
So he's going to
But he's in recovery. He's in remission.
Which means
but he needs to heal them.
You need to take time off, let your body recuperate.
But he also held the belt forever. Forever. This man has held that belt for ages.
Which leads me to believe they told him, look, you need to take a break.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think this is the official end of the Vince McMahon era. Him giving up that belt. In my opinion, that's what I thought that signified.
That could be that too.
Because I don't even think Roman wanted to hold it for as long as he did. People talk about how I forget what they call it, but he wasn't in the regular matches at all. He really just showed up for the big events, and that was it. So I think he was ready to let it go, but they needed somebody else to come in, and they needed a good story for that to happen. Rock comes on board for the board of directors. Vince McMahon gets kicked out. I don't know if he necessarily had all of that control for their creative decisions, but I feel like he did.
He controlled
everything.
He controlled everything.
So him being gone, Rock being back on, and now Triple H is able to tell the stories. Well, the way they're pivoting this is that Triple H now has the accessibility to tell the stories the way he wants to tell stories. I think all of that kind of worked in favor of what underdog story can we tell? Cody Rhodes. So I found out through all of my YouTube research, Cody Rhodes' story has been brewing for years. So he would show up with his dad when his dad was still doing the cameos. Then I didn't realize he went through 4 character changes.
Yeah.
All while with WWE.
Yeah, his brother went through 2 or 3.
Right. So they had a bunch of different stories with Cody before he finally became the American Nightmare. But he left WWE because he kind of got relegated to a side character for a while. So he quits. He leaves WWE. He gets released out of his contract. And then he helps build AEW. Around the time that AEW started, there were more independent wrestling firms that were able to finally stream their content without having to go through Vince. Because if they wanted it syndicated on TV, you had to go through Vince McMahon. But if they were doing it themselves, because he owns a lot of the properties and avenues for them to stream it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got the trademark for it. So if it's wrestling anything.
Oh, so he trademarked just wrestling.
I don't even know if it's a trademark necessarily, but he's got ownership rights or first dibs when there's new content revolving around wrestling. if they're gonna put it into like a syndication TV type thing, because there's really
Yes.
only 2 channels that you can do that on: Fox and USA,
Why?
because those are the ones that want to do the programming. The other channels don't really want to do it.
Sure.
Sure. So all that to say, this era of streaming it yourself starts to happen, and Cody Rhodes jumps at the forefront of that. So he goes independent and he starts working with other independent wrestling firms and streaming content and building an audience that way. And it's taken off. It starts taking off. Then AEW comes into the mix and he becomes the face of AEW. It's the guy that Calvin was talking about before. There's a very rich guy from the Middle East who owns several sports teams here in America, and his son, who's very invested in wrestling, who start AEW. Cody Rhodes becomes the face of AEW at their beginning of their heyday, and he helps build it up.
Over all the damn American sports, seems like they about to buy it.
They got that oil money. They got that oil money. So after Cody becomes very popular with AEW, he quits. He quits and doesn't do anything for like a year or two, and then comes back to WWE as the American Nightmare. His latest change. And at first, I wasn't sure what to make of his character, the American Nightmare, because when you see him, he looks like a neo-Nazi. He's a bleach blonde man in American flag apparel from head to toe. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then he's married to this beautiful black woman. You're like, okay. All right. And he's raising this gorgeous black daughter. I'm like, okay.
I don't.
This is interesting. And he brought them for his match too. Like, she took the stage. His wife actually was she was on the track to be a professional wrestler herself, but they don't exactly say what happened, but something bad happened between her and Vince McMahon, and she pulled out. She stopped. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really have nothing to say.
Oh, anyway. So now Cody holds the title. Everybody's crying and screaming. The story got finished. And in his thank yous to everybody after he gets it, one of the standouts for me is him calling Triple H down and him thanking him for the storyline and saying that this is going to be the new era, the Levesque era. Which brings me to my conspiracy theory that while I do think Triple H has a hand in a lot of this, I feel like a lot of this is pushed by The Rock. I feel like a lot of the idea around this was pushed by The Rock. But that is my conspiracy theory.
I think they collabed on this because they're both from that era.
Yeah. And it felt exactly like the Attitude Era. This was Attitude Era stuff.
Because the storyline had some substance to it.
It had an actual story. It had an actual story to it. A beginning, a middle, and an end.
And you had great people playing in the story.
Yes. And I felt like, in my opinion, I felt like when the announcement was made that instead of Cody facing Roman, it was going to be Rock facing Roman. That's when The Rock made the plan to pivot, to change it. Some people are saying that they knew way ahead of time that the audience was not going to side with Rock being faced off with Roman at all, like that wasn't going to be a go. So this was their plan all along, but I don't think so. I think they were like, he's a bigger name. Also, I feel like this was part of the storyline Vince had in place. But then when he unexpectedly had to step down, they were like, we're going to pivot. We're going to do this instead. Because Cody wasn't, in my very limited opinion, I don't see Vince McMahon giving Cody the belt. I think there's a reason he kept it with Roman for as long as he did.
It is what it is. But yeah, I remember his brother having like a different, because his brother was something like his dad's name or something like that. I forgot what his brother first came out of, but he was like a cowboy when
Dustin.
he first came out. Yeah,
he was Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah,
he was like a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Something similar to his dad. Then he did something else, and then he finally found his niche as Goldust.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cody comes along and pretty much takes his dad moniker, because that American Nightmare,
yeah,
to American Dream, same thing. His dad was American Dream, Dustin Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they pretty much took their dad's persona and built on it.
It was amazing. Oh, and side note, there was another tag team match with ladders that I completely forgot about with Awesome Truth and A-Town Down Under that Calvin really loved.
I hate that name. So I'm assuming I'm like, they're from Atlanta? What the hell is
from
this?
Australia.
They're from Australia. I'm like, that don't, man, whatever.
I just love anything with R-Truth in it. He's quickly becoming one of my favorites. This man has been in wrestling for ages. I'm glad he's getting more and more attention, and I really hope it leads to like even more storylines for this man. He is so funny. He's so funny. But he was paired up with The Miz for the Ladders duo. They're calling themselves the Awesome Truth. And so they won those bouts, and then A-Town Down Under, which they feel like heels. These white guys from Australia, they also won belts. So their match is probably coming up at some point as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like 2 different types of tag team belts. It's just too many
So many
belts.
things.
Yeah.
But I loved it. So that was WrestleMania, worth the watch for sure. You can stream it on Peacock, actually. If you have the Peacock app, you can rewatch it right now. I'm sure you probably can rewatch it through Fox or something. The way it's set up is weird. If you want to watch the weekly programming for WWE, you got to watch it on Fox or USA Network right now. It doesn't hit Peacock for like months. But if you're watching one of their big events, their pay-per-views, you can watch that on Peacock as it's airing. It's very weird. And then all of this is going to change when Netflix's contract with them becomes active. Because Netflix has taken all of their weekly stuff. So it's no longer going to be on Fox and USA Network. It's now going to be on Netflix exclusively. But I also don't know if that includes their pay-per-views. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
All right. So
You want to talk about Hoochie Daddies, or you want to run through 90 Days Single Life?
you can go ahead and into Hoochie Daddies.
Hoochie Daddies, real quick. I watched episode 3 of Hoochie Daddies. This season 2 episode. It is still a wreck. It is still a mess. If you love gay mess, continue watching Hoochie Daddies. The biggest takeaway for me for this episode was that I got introduced to somebody called Carter the Body, who I did not know who that was at first. And I didn't understand why they were so excited. But then I looked into Carter's Instagram and socials, and I was like, I get it. I get it. They are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. I get it.
Who's gorgeous?
Carter the Body.
Sure.
I think what makes Carter stand out, or at least the way they explained it on the show, the way that makes it stand out, Carter was one of the first of them. So a masculine presenting lesbian who was doing like bodybuilding type stuff that took off on social media.
The old face lady.
Calvin was like, how old is this person? I forget how old you thought that they were. 50?
Don't get me. The face regimen is flawless.
Actually, Carter is our age. I thought Carter was in their 30s or like 20s. They're 41.
The face skin regimen is flawless.
Carter is gorgeous. I'm sorry, I said that very forcefully.
That's all I would say about
Carter
that.
is hot.
That's
I
all I would
get
say
it.
about that.
I get it.
I won't go that far.
Carter's hot.
Well, whoever does her facials and stuff, I would like to know.
You said, what is the skincare regimen?
Because I would like to be down.
How we do this? So Carter comes on as a guest judge, and the biggest highlight for the episode is that Hoochie Daddies are kind of doing a Hoochie Daddy competition for this actual episode.
Finally.
But it's quite clear that this was not very well planned. The plan is for the Hoochie Daddies to carry girls piggyback style or fireman carry style up a steep hill at a park as like an obstacle course type thing. Pick them up, carry them up the hill, hit the red bench thing to turn around and come back. Whoever has the fastest time wins.
No one's wearing the proper shoes.
This
At
wasn't
all.
planned out. The two girls are not the same weight.
None
the same weight.
None of their games are planned out well.
The two girls aren't even the same weight. They're like, we're going to keep it fair, so we'll alternate. But they pair the tiniest Hoochie Daddies with the biggest girl, and then the biggest Hoochie Daddies with the small girl. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Carter falls. At some point, they have Carter face off against the winner, who is Baby Jackson, by the way.
Yeah,
And Carter
Baby
falls
Jackson,
trying to do
baby.
it, which is hilarious. Carter has no problem picking up the girl, but that steep behind hill is insane. So
She was in Air Force Ones, by the way, trying to do this.
they were all
challenge.
in some kind of Nike sneaker basketball shoe. All of them. And they're at a regular park. So that just
running up a hill full of grass and pine needle cones.
Also, Woody's messy self is in there at the beginning of the episode, just stirring shit with the crew. Like, who do you think is the dumbest one? Like, what do you mean?
Who you think slow? I'm saying that elevator don't go. it don't go. You know what I'm saying?
And they're
wheel don't-
just coming for 24K for
You know
some
what I'm saying?
reason. I don't know what Woody has against 24K, but it's something.
something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It don't go. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Maybe you know what I'm saying?
crazy. It's crazy. And then they play a game of truth or dare that goes terribly wrong. At first, it's like, we're going to ask some questions or we're going to dare for lap dances and kisses. And then it's like, is it true that you let your girl have a train run on her? Is it true that yada, yada, boom, boom, whatever else? Oh, that you actually dated somebody who identifies as a trans as a trans person. So they don't use trans person. They say something completely different. But
Is it true we can do arm wrestling?
oh, they have an arm wrestle challenge where it's I was shocked who won. It was Baby Jackson versus what is that person's
She
name?
just had leverage, seemed to me.
But it's supposed to be, it's against the person who keeps hyping up that they're like this professional trainer. Their exercise is their life, and they lost to Baby Jackson.
I would say this.
And it's Baby being like, "Yeah, I be lifting the girls. That's my signature move. I lift them up." I'm like, "What you mean? How's it? What? What do you mean that's a signature move?"
Like I said, I think it's more that person didn't want to be there to begin with.
What did you think of their conversation that Woody brings up about being a masculine presenting woman in a relationship with another woman? Do you feel that you have to be the provider? They're like, would you split the bills 50-50? Would you be like, nah, I'm taking care of all of it? Because a lot of their answers was like, oh, if I have the money, I'm taking care of all of it. But if I don't, then we're going to try to split it. Or they're going to take care of the smaller bills or something crazy because they want to be seen as the provider. It was very interesting.
Everybody wanted dick until they have to do what dick do.
That is not accurate. So,
Yep.
no.
Bars.
If anything, I think it just talked more into how toxic masculinity is not just for guys. Like this idea that if you feel you fall into this particular role, you then have to adhere to all these toxic ideals. It was very interesting. And then we get the slap fight that goes bad. So that happens. Who was it against? 24K and the other girl who
the
goes
same one
Nelly.
that lost the arm wrestling.
Yeah, I think it's Nelly.
Seems as though they were picking on her. But in her defense,
Picking on who? Nelly?
24K and that girl.
Oh, okay.
But in her defense, not 24K, the other girl.
Nelly.
In her defense, she wasn't feeling this at all.
Well, first of all, she did that crazy competition like they all did. Then she did arm wrestling with Baby, and then they were like slap box each other.
She was already
Done.
perturbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
With this book. She's like, this is BS. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Right? She wasn't wrong.
So so I already knew before they started the slap fight thing, I'm like, this can go wrong real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Watch. And it not even a second. Now we're breaking everybody up.
Right. Not even a second, indeed. It just was like, oh, nope, it's bad. It's happening. So that was basically Hoochie Daddies. And then they end it. So, like, who is in first place? I don't know. I think everybody is tied right now. We're 3 episodes in. And it's been a different winner every time. So,
I
there's a
just
bunch
like
of ties.
to give a shout out to a show that we're watching.
Yeah.
So we're watching a show called
Lethally.
Lethally Blonde. The last episode we watched was an amazing episode for me.
Okay.
Because if you guys don't know, you guys remember the girl who accused the lacrosse players of raping her? The black girl?
Crystal. I want to say Mango. That's not it. But Crystal.
Yeah. So basically, she was the focus of this episode. Long story short,
It got bad. It went from bad to worse.
it got bad to worse. They go over the trial, what happened, and how she lied.
I remember that Duke lacrosse.
Yeah, that's what I
situation.
remembered. I didn't remember what happened to her afterwards. So, like, maybe a year or two
I
after that?
remember them dropping the charges. I do remember that because the rest of us were like rich white people doing
No,
it
no,
again.
no, I remember all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But what happened to her after that?
Yeah.
Then, so after they drop all the lacrosse stuff, she pretty much goes through, I guess, everything you can go through.
Well, because she goes back to not having anything again.
Not having anything again. Nah, I think she's still stripping and probably prostituting on the side too as well.
Yeah, sex. Yeah, doing sex work. Hmm.
So she ends up meeting this guy
Who becomes obsessed with her?
because he was cleaning her through the plumbing or something to her aunt's house or something.
Yeah.
She meets him. They end up getting together, living together, and
but he gets like mad controlling.
He's mad controlling. They get into it. She ends up stabbing him, and he ends up dying.
Right. He manages to leave wherever they're having their fight at, and makes it to like his nephew's place.
And
dies in
his
nephew's
in
arms.
the same apartment complex.
Oh no, he's died in his nephew's arms. He dies at the hospital later. But yeah.
And I just feel bad for her because I think
she got used a lot. Yeah.
She got used a lot, and two, I'll let you guys go watch the episode. I don't want to tell you the whole episode.
I kind of want to do because I was shocked and surprised.
But for me, I think she got OJ'd.
What do you mean? What you mean?
She got penalized for something that they thought she should have got penalized for.
Oh, in the second trial.
And they just penalized her.
I see.
This time.
Oh, yeah, because so the lacrosse thing, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil because I was like, what? So because they talk about the other mechanics behind what was going on with this lacrosse trial, like the reason it was being pushed so hard,
and we feel that it wasn't her fault.
Well, the show kind of pivoted that it wasn't her fault either because they talk about how like the events of what had happened when she was at this lacrosse party or whatever. And then the attorneys involved who were like coercing her or pushing her to say certain things a certain way, getting the rape kit, trying to identify the assailants, and then like dismissing full evidence in order to continue to push this along. Like a lot of this was above her. And then when everything shook out that it wasn't true, not only does she not get penalized, but the case just disappears. Like it just stops.
They just drop everything and she didn't get penalized, which leads me to believe
this is a black woman in North Carolina who didn't have a fallout legally around that. That was weird.
Supposedly lied on 4 white dudes.
Right.
From a prestigious college.
Right.
That killed their whole
4
program.
rich white dudes, yeah.
That killed their whole sports program, literally.
Well, but it also unveiled all of the other stuff that was happening around campus. So, even though that part wasn't true, other stuff came up.
Nothing happened.
To her, correct.
To her.
Right.
And no one asked the question like, she lied. She blatantly lied. And we're not going to do anything?
Apparently, like, around town, they had their own misgivings. But, I mean, like, yeah, legally, nothing? Nothing legally? And then the murder thing happens, and
that's why I say
they go hard.
That's when I say she got OJ.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you look at everything, it sounds like self-defense.
Right.
Because she does have a lot of defensive
wounds. Yeah.
But they showed her picture. It looked like she got beat up.
And she can establish how controlling the relationship was. She has like texts and audio from this dude being like, you better do this or whatever, face the consequences type of deal. Because it was a physically abusive relationship.
Because apparently she was flirting with his family members.
Which didn't make sense
when
to
he
me.
took her to meet the family during a barbecue.
But they very much set it up like if she talked to anybody, it was considered her flirting. Like it didn't matter. It didn't matter who it was.
Also, back to the lacrosse thing. Those guys weren't innocent because this all started because they used racial slurs when those girls were dancing for them.
Yes.
So that's why the girls actually left.
But it also came out later that there were like hazing rituals that were happening around with that particular group and with other fraternities on campus. And then all of the sexual harassment stuff came out from other students on that campus. So it like blew even though it, for whatever reason, ended up not being true, it blew the door open for all the other stuff that was like just below the surface.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'll say I feel like, but I think you feel the same way. She was a pawn in a bigger thing that she couldn't control.
Yeah.
Or she had no say so in.
Yeah. She had limited power and the people that did have power were like, we'll just do whatever we want because what's she gonna do? Nothing. So, but basically, first of all, I didn't know she was in the Navy. They set up that she was in the Navy, and honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that's where it kind of starts with her because she wanted to do better for herself, and she was excelling in the Navy. But then she gets into a relationship with somebody that she's not allowed to be in a relationship with, and the Navy kicks her out. We don't hear about what happened to the other person that was in there.
The officer's still there. They probably just switched
They never said it was an officer. They just said it was against protocol. But Calvin is Navy, so it was like, oh, it's an officer.
Yeah,
it was a high-ranking person who was supposed to be doing something.
It's her superior.
So
it's either a first-class chief or officer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all
It
it
was
is.
sad. I mean, like she found a way out, and then she loses that opportunity. Now she's got 2 kids. She's trying to figure out how to make ends meet, make ends work. Back home in North Carolina,
Squirtle.
gets into stripping, gets into a lot of the other
A
stuff that
little hooking
happens
on the
being in
side.
that
A little
life,
light hooking on the side.
getting into the drugs and whatnot, and then yeah, all the other stuff that came out of it
So that's pretty much Lethally Blonde.
was another
You
worth the
guys
watch
go-
for you.
Worth the watch. You guys go check it out. I think it's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
On a lighter, depressing note, I
Never
guess,
ending is not stopping.
90
Yes.
Day The Single Life. Tell all
Good
part 4.
gravy. And it's still not done. We have another part to get through.
There's part 5. I don't give 2 craps. But I'm gonna watch it just to get it over with.
Who cares?
So we're gonna talk about John briefly.
He's
John
getting married.
does ask Megan to marry him, and she says yes.
Do you know how to read these notes without sounding like you're reading the notes?
No. And actually, I wasn't reading the notes. I was just briefly skimming stuff.
Very interesting. Okay. So yes, John is marrying Megan. He proposes to Megan. She says yes, and then we get a little sidebar with his brother who's looking dumb. He's looking like, why is
And
this happening?
And the reason I read it, it came off like that was because I'm depressed. I really don't want to talk about it.
What did you think about the brother's conversation with their mom on the phone that 90 Day Fiancé spent so much time on?
I didn't even pay that no attention.
He's there talking to his mom. He's like, "Yep, well, we're here for the tell-all, blah blah blah." John proposed to Megan. They're gonna get married, and it's his brother shitting on him per usual, just being like, "This is a terrible plan. He doesn't know what he's getting into. He already had all these issues with her, and it's his mom agreeing the whole time."
What is she supposed to do? She
I don't
probably
know.
just want to get off the phone and get back to the stories. Who knows?
Who knows? But that's all that's happening with John.
Then we move on to Debbie and Ruben. Basically, Ruben finally comes on, and he pretty much talks about how he really wants to be in a relationship or start something with Debbie.
But it's off the heels of Debbie's son
But then
being like, "Well, then why are you on all these dating apps?" And I don't trust him. He's up to something.
and Ruben's answer, because I just am. I don't do nothing. It's not like I'm seeing anybody. I'm just on apps. If you notice, you have to pay to do extra stuff. I'm not paying for it. It's all free.
But I guess they're saying if you're so serious about Debbie, then why are you even doing the free stuff?
But then he points out, too, Debbie's still paying for somebody else's family, so how serious is she?
That is so accurate.
So,
And they bring in another Debbie to talk
so they
about
bring
it.
in OG Debbie.
Colt's mom, Debbie, yeah.
OG Debbie is
Who
pretty much
They're
talking
calling Mama Debbie.
for Debbie. And saying,
Well, I
asking-
would say at. I would say at Debbie.
and asking Ruben questions, are you whatever with the and Ruben answers them. She's like, okay, cool, there you go. That's pretty much it. But it's still her son going, well, I just want to protect my mom and all that stuff. And this stuff,
And she,
whatever.
yeah, he doesn't trust Ruben, blah, blah, blah,
And
blah,
then
blah,
it's
blah.
Debbie like, I have some questions of my own too. I was wondering what he's doing out there too. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing.
When the lights focused on her, all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, I care about him, but I don't know." And it's very interesting to see Colt's mom go after Debbie for being so elusive. Like she's just like, "Why are you saying that you?" Oh, because they ask her why she lied about her age, and she's like, "I wasn't getting attention." And it's Debbie's mom being like, "You don't gotta lie about your age."
And then it's Debbie going, keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm like, but her name's Debbie. So technically, that's going to be kind of hard. Because you guys
it's literally in her mouth. So I
that's
don't.
literally, yeah.
What you mean?
Yeah.
We also get Ruben who drops Trout to show off
He has.
his Debbie faced underwear and socks.
He's already colorful enough.
I love that Debbie complains again that he wears too much color, and I love that it was Veronica and Chantel being like,
Really?
he's just like you.
He's
You're
just
dressed like
like
Big
you."
Bird right now. What you mean?
You're dressed like a flaming
Cheeto.
Pikachu.
A Charizard, something.
Something. I don't know what it is.
It's so crazy. I also love that we got to see Fernanda again. It's very random that Fernanda shows back up. She's from 90 Days, the OG 90 Days
Why was
series,
she there?
season 6.
Why was she there?
Why was Caesar there?
I keep forgetting he was there.
I don't know if it's just a reminder. I don't know if it's a hint towards them being in a different show later down the road or what. But I don't know.
Don't get it twisted. I didn't mind seeing her, but that's not the point.
She's gorgeous.
Anywho, now moving on to Tim, Louisa, Jamal, and Veronica.
Yes.
This, I have no idea what's going on.
It starts out with Tim and Louisa. They finally get to the Tim and Louisa of it all. And I love that it gave Louisa a chance to cuss this man out to his face, because what was the fucking point? Why did I date you? Was it just to be on the show? Like, it's her asking him, was it just to be on the show? Because you didn't want to hang out with me. You didn't want to spend quality time with me. I had to beg you to touch me. Like, what?
And what's really, I think, pissed her off, too, was they started showing clips of their interactions.
Uh-huh.
And it makes her seem like she's begging.
Desperate, yeah.
Desperate. And you could see she started seething. I'm like,
she's like, why am I chasing after this dude who clearly has no interest? Like, what?
And also, she pretty much has the same feeling I have.
Uh-huh.
That she thinks he's gay.
Well, okay, so...
And it's not Tim really denying it or anything. He goes,
so I would say that Jamal hints at it and Sean pushes her. Because at first, Louisa didn't want to say, I think you're gay. She just kept saying, I don't think you're interested. But it's Sean pushing her,
right.
Being like, what do you mean by that? What would you think specifically? Do you think he's not interested in women? And she goes, yeah, I think he's gay.
And then she said, yeah, me and my friends think he's gay. And it's Tim going, it sounds like a Rocky or something.
Well, the look on Tim's face was that he gets this a lot, which he does. If you watched any of the other 90-day tell-alls or what Pillow Talks, whatever, blah, 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 a lot of people's sentiment after they see Tim or meet with him or talk to him or whatever is that he's gay. He gets it a lot. He's talked about it before. He shakes his head. He's like, I'm not gay. That's not what's happening. But what cracked me up was John trying to come in to save it and be like, oh, it might be a testosterone thing. Maybe you need to get your hormone levels checked, because I had to get my hormones checked and I was low in testosterone. And it's him and Veronica being like, yeah, that's what it is. Get your levels checked, Tim. That's what's going on. Very interesting.
Then after that, they take a break. And then we get this weird Veronica Jamal interaction.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of like flirting each other. I'm going to see you later on.
Mind you, we just watched them cuss each other out like 2 episodes ago.
Exactly. I'm going to see you later on.
We're getting dinner after this.
Dinner after this. Maybe we hook up or whatever. We'll meet you later or whatever.
He's like, we're good, right? She goes, yeah.
Yeah. Then these sneaky bastards.
Oh, then they kiss.
They kiss. Well, it's like a peck on the forehead.
He gives her a kiss on the cheek, and she kisses the top of his head. It's very motherly, but also they're trying to hint that, like, maybe there's still feelings there. And then we get Chantel talking to Natalie, and I forget whoever else. But it's Chantel setting up the scene for the next Jamal scene, which is Chantel saying that she saw him and Louisa out at dinner near the hotel the other day.
And then we go back, and now you just have them talking off camera.
Which also was another weird choice. They tape everything, but instead of showing us actual video footage of Louisa and Jamal talking to each other, they give us a still frame of the waiting room, and we're just listening to audio. That, in my opinion, sounded edited.
He's like, yeah, you had a good time. She's like, yeah, I had a great time. He's like, yeah, we had a great time. She's like, yeah, we had a great time. I don't remember anything.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not really good.
Right. And he's like, oh, yeah, we did it twice. And she goes, shut up. Did we? I don't really remember. I had all those drinks. And he goes, yeah, we had a great time. And it's like, was it consensual?
Like he's trying to convince her she had a good time. Sound like somebody got the Bill Cosby.
It sounds like
somebody got something put in the jello pudding.
But there also is a crazy edit. Because like I said, it's a still screen of the waiting room. And then all of a sudden you see this big jump cut. And it's not him specifically stating that they had sex. It's just heavily implied with the we did it twice business. And it's like, but it's also her being like, I don't know, I don't remember, which is problematic. So it was like, okay, interesting.
Somebody got the jello pudding.
But also, why are they dragging this out? Why are we dragging this out? We could have did all of this when we were first talking to Jamal and Veronica. We could have easily done that.
But Jamal's like, you don't remember me putting my pudding in your pudding pop, and you just, and I'm sounding like, I sounds like she probably got date raped. That's what it sounds
Sounds so scary. Sounds
'Cause
so scary.
She keeps repeating like she doesn't remember
Right.
anything.
Right.
So I'm like, that's kind of whatever.
Suspicious.
Anywho, so I'm already setting up part 5. It's gonna be Thing coming back, be like, so what's up with you and Louisa? And they're trying to get me too.
I'm trying to figure out how they're going to fill up part 5. We know that Natalie and Josh are coming back out for some stupid reason, and Mike, because reasons. And Mike has something big to drop on Natalie. I really feel it's divorce papers.
It's gonna be divorce papers. That's what it's gonna be.
But also Debbie is still involved. Colt's mom, or who they're calling Mama Debbie, is still involved because there's a whole part in there where he's like, "Go ahead and give it to her, Debbie." It's like, why would Debbie do this?
Why are you giving it to Debbie?
But I also wouldn't put it past this show. And that was it.
That's pretty much 90 Days Single Life tell all.
It's so crazy. Are you still following on the other 90 Day show you're watching, Happily Ever After?
I gotta get caught up.
Is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it.
Well, it's
and they're about to do another. Remember that the resort? I think it's like 90 Day Resort or whatever, where the couples go and do their version of counseling.
Yeah,
they're doing that. They're doing a second run of that.
Okay. I want to sway Lou back so bad.
Why? Why?
I don't know. But that's pretty much all for me.
Yeah, that's all for me.
Else.
That's really it. Nothing else that I can think of. Anything you're excited to watch for the week coming up?
Some more Lethally Blonde.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you catch the 5th episode of Dark Side of Kids TV?
No, that's another thing we were watching. Talk about next week.
We don't. It's not in depth at all. They don't give us any new information. It's
them just going over.
It's Soledad O'Brien basically talking to like a couple of the people that were in the docuseries and asking them questions about other people who were in the docuseries and not actually having those people on. The only big revelations from the 5th episode is that they're just as fame hungry as the kid TV show they're doing this whole docuseries on. So there's that.
Makes sense. I don't know. At some point you should not want to relive
your traumas for money.
And they can hear that.
Well, okay. Well, enjoy. I'm popping packaging. So that's all I got.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.